So RC Ale Works Brewery is on the way.
What's what numbers are we doing? We tapping how many kegs a night? Yeah,
not to kegs a night.
Fucking,
I'm gonna get 3.5 gallons of beer, so I don't even know. But
that's dope. That's dope.
No, it's
That's
good.
so raw though. Yeah,
no, it's cool. Yeah, we added the second batch of hops because you boil the first batch with it.
Yeah, walk me through the actual process. I've never.
Yeah. So, well, this is just this recipe. All beer recipes are different. So, what we did was, and when I say we, I'm going to give credit to my wife, because she was doing it with me. And yeah, man, no, but but what we did was excuse me, what we did was boil a bunch of water with hops and then like
dried hops.
Malt. Well, yes, and then it's dried hops, and then I think it was Citra, Mosaic, and Amarillo hops, and then you have to get all that down. You put it in like this. It's basically like a Home Depot, that orange Home Depot bucket, essentially. You know what I mean? But it's built for beer. It's got the lines on it for how much it is. Then you get
Does it have the little spigot? The fucking.
So you transfer that after, like it came with the kit. So you do that when you don't ferment in there, because technically it's all like brewing beer is all about not contaminating it. That's what I've come to realize.
Just like growing mushrooms.
Yeah, 1000%. Like it's like you can pretty much make a solid beer if you don't fuck it up, like hygiene wise, which is insane because every tap room I've gone to, the guy looks like the least hygienic guy of all time.
From the 5 to the 6, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. I need food for the kids, money for the rent. Fuck a lockdown, baby, I can't do that shit. And I don't never vote, cause I'm fucking broke. And either way, I know the police ain't gon' leave me alone. On a plane by to visit Glen and Crypto told me I should bring the Glock with me. So I packed up my piece and I'm sliding. Cause we might get caught up in a riot. Middle finger Trump, middle finger Biden. Fuck a left, fuck a right, is you riding? Know you love to see it, dudes rocking. Ain't no politics, baby, we just talking. From the birds to the bricks, we be in the mix with that rare candy paint job on the whip. Who you with?
Yeah. So, but so basically we didn't have like half of the stuff that are like the cooling stuff, because when you boil it, and it was funny when we went on Car Crash, we were just getting done, but like we still had to stay up late that night and and like cool the beer down because it was boiling. But now today I got this coil, so basically we can, when we boil the beer, the coil will cool it down so it cools faster. So then we let it. This is a week later today, so after a week it's been sitting fermenting. Fermenting is creating the alcohol, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what we're doing right now, is just creating the alcohol. And now we added the second half of the hops. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's half. Add the second half of the dry hops just straight in too, and then now it's creating the clarity in the beer.
That's called dry hopping, right?
Correct. Yeah. And it's just now it's to create clarity in the beer. Like that's essentially what we're doing right now. Then 2 weeks from now we're gonna bottle it, and like they give you a thermometer, like a fermenting thermometer on the side, which is pretty cool. We're supposed to stay between 65 and 75 degrees, and have not had an issue at all with that. I wonder how the summer is going to be when we do it during the summer, but no, it's pretty cool. And then we're going to bottle it in 2 weeks, Lord willing, and then we let it sit in the bottles for a while. So like it'll be about another month, I'd say, before we
it's like the exact same as growing mushrooms, like the same amount of time.
Why don't you get on that? And then we just like, I mean, what more, like you could literally be a bug man, an RC bug man, and just get everything from us. Just like I listen to the podcast, I take the mushrooms, I fucking drink the beer.
What's cool about brew shops is that they're basically function as like mushroom growing shops too. They have everything for like low key that you need. Yeah. And didn't they used to, wasn't beer psychedelic like in like the Middle Ages and shit? Did you just be like fucking loaded off of shroom? And then that church made them stop. It used to be a whole thing.
That's insane. Yeah, and that was the other thing I was thinking about. I was like, how did they not contaminate it back then?
Just like,
I know, dude. Guys got scurvy while he's making it.
Some like pot-bellied butcher, bro. Like with fucking
guys like
on his fucking
like maimed. He's like missing half his hand. Like an open wound in his hand while he's making it.
I know. Nothing makes. I know. That's exactly what mushrooms is like. You'll like be fucking surgical with it. and like the tiniest thing will contaminate it, and then it'll be like, oh fuck it, and then it'll throw it outside, and then they'll perfectly sprout up. You're like, what? Like,
that's how microgreens are, unfortunately. Like I did that with the cilantro.
Oh
so when the cilantro couldn't do it, and I just put them outside. Then I go to dump the other soil from another batch, a successful batch, and I go out there and it's like full grown cilantro microgreens, like just like perfect, like out of a magazine.
No shit, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I know. It's just like, what am I doing? I'm just competing with the fucking nature outside. But shit, we came here to talk about police. I'm in Chaz right now. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm in Chaz or CHOP. As some might know, this is like kind of the autonomous zone. This is society right here. It looks great. I mean, it looks great. Don't have a mask. I expect to hear about this from the people. And I'm at the by POC Botanical Garden out here for by POC only. But I am waiting on an Elizabeth.
So great.
On it, wasn't that the best? Wasn't that? They're just like, I know.
It's like it's food. Like it's like you're dividing up like food growing amongst. Yeah. Like,
can you imagine like the guy's like, yeah, these bell peppers didn't come in very well. I'm pretty sure some whiteness got in. And
dude.
Yeah.
Do you see what Glenn Greenwald's posting about the new trend that like for like school teachers or whatever, they'll have, like Zoom meetings and like, but they'll be like, here's the POC link, here's the white link, for like different, they have different rooms now for like, Dude, and it's like,
it's
and
so
I don't know, I could get that in like certain circumstances, if it's like very, if you're like a specific sensitive issue or something, maybe, but like it seems like
I don't know if I get it. I don't even know if I get it. I'm sorry. Like we're in 2021. Like,
no, you're right. I
don't know if I do. I just like, I can't.
Yeah.
That's segregation. I'm just saying that's segregation.
He was saying like this is like, he's like, yeah, I did one of these at the Intercept once and like never did it again because it was bullshit. But he's like,
is that like downloading for Mac and downloading for Windows? Like where if you try, you're like, I'm gonna try the Windows, see what happens, and then
it'd be funny if you were like white and just click the POC.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was like you have a Mac, but you're like, let's click the Windows link, like see what happens. Download for Windows.
He was saying that there was like a half Indian lady in his group. Then she was all nervous. She's like, what do I do? Like, what button? Exactly. Which is why that is why the woke crowd is against the whole, like they're being like weird, like that's what CRK talks about, is like the whole, like you shouldn't intermarry or shit like that, like crazy shit, right?
It's
like crazy.
So weird.
Yeah.
No, it's 100% just like horseshoe theory segregation. Like and like how can you justify that, where it's like, because that's all it is spaces, voices, amplify, like spaces, voices, and bodies. That's like always what people say. Like you were
when
saying,
did that start?
I don't know when that started.
Took off, man.
But yeah, it's like, and it's funny because I was listening to a few other like programs today too, and it's clearly an academic level thing that's trying 100%. To be shoehorned into like working class stuff, where we are all just hanging out with each other, of course there's still little discrepancies and stuff. I'm not saying there isn't, but that's totally like some academia thing.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get shoehorned along class lines because there's no class analysis by design in anything the US does, where it's like, no, this works for everything because it's, there's just tiers from race and there's no class analysis to it. So we're going to do, at your labor union training center, we're going to have a whites only classroom and then
but it's the same people that do the whole, like that. You remember that tweet from the Brahmi chick, the Indian, she's like, my fucking house staff won't get vaccinated. And it's like, how do I handle this situation? Like, it's those same people. And I remember being at school and like the same thing, like, well, school is interesting. Like, I don't doubt that there's extreme mental pressure on people and stuff, but there's no, that's the thing. There's no like material for most of those kids. There isn't really much material, so they skipped over the material struggle kind of thing. Where like, where, and what's funny is what I noticed is that because I was one of the kids that got there because we were like poor, and they're like, just come here, just like we'll pay your fucking shit, we don't care, we're so rich, like we'll pay your fucking school or whatever. And like all the kids that were like that, be them white or non-white or whatever, were like were chill and like humble, it seemed, and everyone else was tripping hard on the fucking this shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's when I was like young and I didn't really put it together. You know, I was like still piecing it together in my mind, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening here.
How awesome was that tweet, by the way? Like just
yeah.
But it was, what was funny is I was like, that's a fucking dude, because she did like a thread on other stuff where like she was talking about like Bill Gates, like the help and stuff was talking about like Bill Gates and stuff. I was, this is a fucking base nanny, dude. Like what I was like, this nanny is
sick.
Wait,
the nanny was in the replies? What?
No, the lady was threading that. You're talking about the one who won't get the vaccine, right? I
was talking about her boss was like the one, her boss, you know, the rich.
Oh, we're talking about something else. Okay, we're talking about something else.
I was talking about like the rich housewife woman that was like, oh, these my slaves won't get the vaccine.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the same thing. She was threaded. She did like updates on it where like, oh, and the help keeps talking about keeps talking about Gates and like all this stuff. I was like, this help's fucking sick, dude. Like what the hell? I was like, she's smartest one in the house.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah. No, this is I'm sorry, this is just one of those things. I know we're getting off track here, but you know, this is one of those things that the libs are just wrong on this one, 100%. Not even saying like you shouldn't get the vax or anything, but they're just wrong on the whole, like,
you still can't prove to me why the help needs it if everybody else in the house has it. You can't prove to me why.
It's a fucking,
that's what I mean.
You need them to think right. You need them to think.
And we're catering to like rich people's mental health is what we're doing with all this stuff. It's like, well, I don't feel comfortable re-entering a world that I'm probably not even going to re-enter. Like I'm probably still going to do what I've been doing this whole time because I've been accustomed to this lifestyle. I've been accustomed to this. But I'm seeing people on TV and it's giving me heart palpitations because I'm seeing them go outside. And my nanny, who again, about this, you know, again, this won't be the case of the episode. I could already see some people, oh, this again. No, that's not this again.
Wait 10 minutes.
It's not this again. It's not what the episode's about. But I'm like, okay, this whole thing, and this is a by your logic situation, like by the CDC's logic. This just lessens symptoms and hospitalizations. So anybody who was going to get fucking just wrecked by this virus could get it, right? And the people who felt like they wouldn't could pass it to each other, right? Which is fine. And like, but that's not fine to people because CNN's been just manufacturing consent for this retarded zero COVID thing, which never was a thing. It just cannot happen. Like, I'm sorry.
So like, the things you're saying are the things us anti-vax people have been like observing for.
I'm culturally appropriating right now.
for decades. No, we're just like everything that like. It's funny because I'm not calling like you a normie or anything, but like
I am.
But like, no, would it be safe to say that like I've been on like this crazy Gates vax hype longer than you, right? So like,
correct, yeah.
So all the logical conclusions, you're like, wait, why doesn't this add up by by your logic? And that's everything. Like, it's so funny that it's happening to like everyone now, like all the normies, because it's just everyone's talking.
What's the first ever mass vaccination? I'm talking about like mass, where it's like where it's funny. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, you're right. And well, it's funny because. And I'll say this on the pod, like, you've heard us talk. My stance on this shit was established well before anything happened in my personal life. But my mom had she was hospitalized after the first dose of Moderna, right? Hardcore, so like can't catch her breath like 2-3 weeks later, right? She's pissed, dude. And the first thing because everyone in my family's gotten it. And she's a super CNN COVID, or whatever. And I've tried to talk her off that ledge, and nothing, happening. Mm-hmm. But then the second she got this vax, she's like, "I knew I should have talked to you. I knew like all this stuff." And I'll tell people this, like up here, and they'll be like, "Oh, that sucks. So like, when are you getting it?" And I'm like, I'm just like,
so now you understand. Your mother gave you pointers on how to handle the vaccine
and the
side effects.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and the doctor was like, I guess she told me the doctor was like, well, it's good. Well, you feel bad now. Like, imagine if you got COVID. I'm like, well, I don't think.
But it sounds like she had it. Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like she probably does have it. Like, that's like what it is. Like, I'm sorry, she has shortness of breath. Like, there was a guy in our Discord today was saying that too. He's like, I got it. Look, I travel for work. Like, I'm, and he's like, it's funny because the people like, hey, I'm sorry, Glenn. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's fine. Yeah.
No, it's like, I don't judge anyone.
And they're like, I'm like, it's totally fine. Just do not insist that I get it. You're my friend. I don't care. And then the guy was like, yeah, I'm like basically fatigued. Like, shortness of breath, like I feel nauseous as fuck. Like anytime I stand up, like I feel fatigue. I can't do anything. I was like, those are COVID symptoms. Like, I'm sorry. Like I'm just saying, like, you're basically just trying to take a leapfrog around herd immunity like the natural way. I'm sorry. Like it's just but
and it's funny. Exactly. And my mom was like, and what they're telling us we need 3 shots now, and I'm like, here we go. Yeah,
let's go.
But but anyway, so that's the whole. Oh, who's a fucking, I don't know why this surprises me at all, but who's like a huge COVID lib is fucking Kyle Kalinske. Indeed.
Oh, of course. That's
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't get, like, you don't have to come to the same conclusions as me, or I'm not saying that, but like, I just don't get how. I don't get how you can't at least see the same thing. Like, there's people in our circle that, well, I've gotten the vaccine, but they're like, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like
they just don't. They don't have the same like hatred that we do. And I get, and like, that's what a lot of people don't realize is like there's people who are just like, yeah, it sucks, I get it, but like I just whatever. They don't see the like, and that's what a lot of people who do have like a. I mean, I don't want to call it a radical stance, but like a radical stance or something. They can never realize why, like, some people just might not be as, and like, even vegans are like that too. They're like, it's like, you don't realize some people just don't care about animals. I'm sorry. You have to realize that, like, even though like to you, it's just like, how could you? It's like, dude, they just don't care. And that's okay. But I will say, like, I've seen people like that get it, as long as they're not like, you need to do it when it's your turn and you need to do this, or like that lady who rented the car that's like, oh my god, I rented a car and I've never driven an automobile for the first time. It'd be so funny if she hit like a fire hydrant with the car or something, like before she got to the appointment or something.
I don't understand that class at all. That is a class. It's like they're on a different planet.
It's identity politics for vaccinations.
Yeah,
it's all it is.
Crazy.
It's literally all it is. You're the most boring, mundane person of all time. This is the first thing you've done in a year, and you're getting credit. You get a pat on the back for it. So it's ultimate liberalism. Is you get a pat on the back for something that you didn't have to do anything for, nothing that you had to question, nothing that you had to make any critical thought with, and you get a pat on the back for it. That's liberalism, dude. And you get to scold other people for not doing what you did. It's like that's a perfect storm.
Damn. Cytokine storm is a fucking. You have the perfect storm outside and inside your bloodstream.
Yes.
With the
and as we speak, I think Chaz, the drones over here in Chaz fucking AutoZone, autonomous zone, heard me say that. So that's all bad because let's pivot. I think people are tired of COVID. I like to do chunks of COVID episodes.
We're not stopping.
We're not stopping, but we're pausing. Like, exactly. There's a couple other people.
We should edit it, like cut out the COVID parts, be like with COVID parts removed, and then
just put like a now that's what I called COVID hits.
Music, exactly. Super stream, like 10 hour fucking.
Some people were asking, like, we had some guests, and I do have some people lined up, like, to come on and talk about COVID. I was like, just give me a couple weeks, man. I don't have anybody planned this week. I just don't.
What did people think about the Latham that you were talking?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Dr. Jonathan Latham.
That guy's based.
No, and people were just like, dude, this guy fucking rocks, man. Like, I was like, yeah, no, he does. And we're going to do, like, I mean, hopefully a lot more with him.
That dude red pilled me so hard with so much shit. Like, he gets it more than anyone I've ever met.
And he sounds like Robin Leach from The Fabulous Life. And you're going to see Liberace as the greatest piano of all time. Like, he's got that kind of like where they do they used to do the old like Cribs type thing with the real fancy rich people. That show. He sounds like that guy. That's why I like. And
that's funny.
But yeah. So we used to a lot. I mean, we didn't have any listeners at the time, but we really started like really podcasting when the Floyd riots hit.
That's right.
Back in 2020. That was, I mean, those are still some of the better ones too. Like I combed through it a couple of times just to like see like what that was this bad, and I was like, no, this is actually really good.
I remember. Well, I was gonna ask. Yeah, I remember that was going on. When we started this pod, like, what would we talk about what if Bernie won and COVID? What if Bernie won and COVID didn't hit?
We didn't know, but COVID. I think our first episode, like, I think like 2 weeks later, COVID like really hit. Like, so like I think
that's what I'm saying. Like, what would we have talked? What would have happened like in the world? Like, what would we even be talking about now if like those two things didn't?
If Bernie won,
it would have changed our whole like outlook on shit. I feel,
Probably. I mean, okay. But, so you're saying if a once in a generation, once in a lifetime crazy disease thing happens, and a democratic socialist quote unquote wins the president thing, yeah, I think it'd be different. No,
yeah. Well, what was it? I had a point on the whole the fucking. Oh no, I remember that was when because that, and seeing everyone's reaction to the Floyd thing and the protests and the masks and the COVID thing all at once. That was when we started like lifting off from the whole like traditional left like podosphere, and we're just like, wait, these guys aren't talking about it like the way we wanted to, or exactly, and so that was pretty interesting. Yeah,
they were talking about it like they were up in this building right here, actually, like the up in the
remember we were like let's go, like this is the start of this shit, and then they were like quiet for like a week, like, and we were like, don't they want to weigh in on this shit or something,
Yeah,
and then nothing, crickets, dude.
It was weird, but nonetheless, Derek Chauvin's in jail. R.I.P. Bozo. Don't give a fuck. Fuck that guy. Like
who's Bozo? The
Derek Chauvin. He's gone.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Get out of here. He's a fucking bozo. Yeah. And no, you haven't seen that meme where the guy's smoking the cigar. It's the old. It's James Worthy. It's the old NBA player. He's smoking, and they're playing like some like Chief Keef or something in the background. He's like, well, because that's a thing now. We're smoking your pack. Like we're smoking the Derek Chauvin pack's getting smoked tonight. You know what I mean? They say that like when like it's like weed,
far out. Yeah.
That's so they're saying they play that meme, R.I.P. Bozo, and they're like smoking a fat ass blunt of like Derek Chauvin basically.
Weird. Okay.
So now you know. Yeah. And but yeah, Derek Chauvin's going to jail.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, a little bit. But when I sat on it a little bit, I was like, this is such an easy win for Biden.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I knew that's what they were going to run with it. But now let me clarify my stance here. Now, because I see a lot of people who might be from our sphere or something like that. And I don't know, I'm not trying to hate on anybody for it, but they're kind of like trying to do some galaxy brain take. And I don't mean like Alex G. I mean, just literal galaxy brain meme take, like where they'll say, oh, this is one cop going to jail. This is actually really more like neoliberalism pretending. It's like, look, he went to jail for killing a guy who was counterfeiting a $20 bill. And I'll get to that part of it soon. But he went to jail, right? And to me, like, look, call me an idealist with it or anything. At least there's a legal fucking precedent for this shit now. Like, at least there's that.
You could. The two things aren't mutually exclusive. I know I hate them. That's overused rhetorical term, but like you can see this as some big like neolib ploy that it is, where like every corporation and DNC operative is being like, there's still so much work to be done. Did you see that Michael Tracy where like everyone had this, like when the news they put the same line out and they play them all at the same time. You're like, holy shit, this is scary. Where they all said like, there's so much work that needs to be done left. That's the line now. Like so you could see it for what it is, and also think that dude should be in jail.
My thing was, what was the alternative? We should let him walk because we got to play the long game here. It's like, what?
I think a lot of these motherfuckers wanted that so they could point to the more riots that would have happened, and they would have been like, see, like, look,
creating your own content almost. Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. I feel that.
And like, it's pretty crazy that there weren't riots, and because justice in some sense, not saying the complete sense, was served. And it's like, I'm just saying, like, it's it's one, I don't know. Are we just
look there's a lot of sports analytics sites. They go look at something in a vacuum and then look at the big picture. You know what I mean? Look at it in a vacuum. You went to jail. It's good. The guy killed a guy. He went to jail. That's what happened. A cop was more or less tried as a citizen. You know what I mean?
And the numbers on that are so, what was it? It's like fucking 6 out of the last like fucking 15,000 or something crazy. So like there's so few that happens.
Yeah, it's okay to be like Derek Chauvin should go to jail and rot underneath the jail, and you're not a fucking lib by saying that. I'm sorry, you're not. It's not a lib. It's not a lib take. Now where the lib take goes is where you go, the Biden administration is doing fucking work. That's when you become a lib, like Nancy Pelosi. I think I have the clip. The Nancy Pelosi quote, not fucking an hour after the trial. It was unbelievable what she said. I'm gonna buy some time here so I can find it. I'm horribly unprepared. But What
no, but I find it. But I wanted to say that the whole fucking, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Yeah, just the whole fucking, yeah, this whole thing, like when you're forced to have like Ben Shapiro's take on it, it's like, I'm just
the
like,
guy's holding a fucking plastic bag full of Home Depot wood and shit. Like George
Yeah.
Floyd actually should have died and should have died in a more brutal way.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh god, dude. So
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
I think I do have. Yep, here we go. Got him. Thank you, Twitter. All right, here we go. Let me cue this up for a second. Yeah. So Nancy Pelosi, this couldn't have been more than 20 minutes after the verdict.
Yeah.
Like it was she, dude, she can't even, like, the kente cloth. People forget about the kente cloth, Neil.
Oh yeah.
People forgot. That felt like another, lifetime time
ago.
and another lifetime. But this is Nancy Pelosi's take on George Floyd. George Floyd, I guess, did a great job for Nancy Pelosi. He was like an employee. Sometimes when you see a tweet like that, you're like, and then you hear the audio, you're like, that's not what they said.
That's not what it really happened, right? Yeah, it's like.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous.
But that's where
now let me close my Microsoft call options.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's like, I'm in a long and I gotta get to the computer because I feel like it's a good time to get out. But that's why you see the people, like, that's why she's talking about George Floyd like he laid a fucking sacrifice bunt down to get the fucking runner over to third. It's like, thank you, George
Floyd, and thank you, Ichiro, for stealing that base. And
Ichiro stole the base. George Floyd got him over to third, and Edgar Martinez hit the sacrifice fly to left field. That's National League Baseball.
Beautiful manufactured runs right there. Yeah,
this is what baseball's been missing. It's all home runs or strikeouts nowadays. But it's like, damn, like, what the fuck? Like, it's like she could have said any bullshit.
Does no one check her? Does she just fly off, or does anyone check her? Does anyone say, like, don't say that?
Yeah. Do you think Nancy Pelosi has a handler? I don't think so.
Yeah. She just flies off the handle. Yeah,
sure. She's like Ozzy Osbourne now. That's what she reminds me of. Like, where he was just like on
yeah. I saw the most racist comment on YouTube on
say it with no filter and no censorship.
Well, it was so bad it made me. I was just like, oh god. And I don't know why. Like YouTube, when it like overpowers your recommend, especially with the COVID vaccine shit, they're like, you want to see 27 interviews of Fauci.
I do.
Yeah. And I'm just, every time I click
only 27.
Yeah. But no, this time it was the whole breaking news for the Floyd thing, and it was kind of weird. They were like video cameras inside Floyd's family's house, like his family member's house, watching the verdict, and like, of course, they're all like freaking out, nervous, and then they say the verdict and they start like, yes, they're like cheering, which, okay, that is weird, like that you're like capturing that moment on camera a little bit, yeah, I don't know. That's weird to me, at least.
Yeah.
But I for some reason, it was like a minute long. I just clicked.
Well, you gotta I'm sorry. Go on.
No, like one of the top comments was like, I thought the NFL draft was next week.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Stop it. But the and it is. I'd like to use that moment to say I will be live streaming the NFL draft on Thursday.
Yeah, that's awesome. Elaborate.
If you're gonna lob me a softball, don't be surprised when I take it 430 feet. I just, I will be. It'll be on the YouTube channel, I think. So I'm still working that out. I'm too old to know how to stream things, so I got to figure that out. But no, you're right. And it's here's the thing. Like look at this coupled with that Asian hate crime bill. Did you see that one that passed?
Yeah, a little bit, but go.
Well, it was crazy. So I'll pull up the article that I found on it, because I actually read up on it. And it's like so there's like this thing about Asian American hate crime thing right now, like in
the West. No,
in the West.
Yeah.
And
like the fucking like the the trad bros are like, the West is failing, you know, they like personify it or some shit. Like they capitalize the W.
West is failing. Yeah. No, first off,
is this like a fucking like, is this like a 50 Cent versus Game album? Like
that's exactly what I think about. I feel like that would have been like the Bad Boy album if Biggie didn't die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so the Senate resoundingly passes, this is New York Times, passes bill to target anti-Asian hate crimes. I just found it very funny, the numbers on how it passed. So the bipartisan vote was 94-1. Guess who the one was that voted against it?
In the Senate?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a name. It's like a popular name. Guess who it is?
Josh Hawley?
Hell yeah.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Fucking based.
Yeah. What did he say about it?
Imagine knowing you're on an island, because you all know. You know those senators, they know. You watch like House of Cards and shit. They know how everyone's going to vote. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff. He's just like, not going to do it.
Yeah.
Not going to be 95-0. Tell you that much.
Wouldn't be prudent. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the wide receiver when you're down like 42-0 that like takes the kick back to the house and does the touchdown celebration. Like, yeah, we're only down 42-8. Like, but it's crazy though when you look at it. Like it's basically like I'm trying to like, because in my head I'm like, what's the bill?
Wait, you know, what?
Like, what is it? What, like, I'm saying, like, like, what is the bill? It's like,
well, that's a weird, like that's a weird thing with this stuff is like, what's different about it than the actual
what law?
crime,
what law is it? Like, what am I not allowed to say to someone? Like, what am I just, it's so weird. Like, I'm trying it's like, all I know is this is going to equal more surveillance. It's just like what it is to me, like in my head.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, look, there are definitely people that make like fucked up Asian jokes and stuff. There are definitely people that make driving jokes and things like that. But like, what Asians, like where I am at, they have like institutional power. Like, no joke. Like I'm not saying
okay,
like,
Tucker Carlson. No,
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
it's one of those things. What it is it's one of those. The funny thing about all this, you know, when you break things down by like racial lines, be it especially for like the woke shit, is you lose granularity and you lose. Okay, like here's the thing where, you know, like I'm just gonna say this, like broadly speaking, like it's pretty clear, and I'm not saying this, I'm not saying positive, negative, whatever. Like it's pretty clear, like, you know, Southeast Asia is like going to be kicking ass this 21st century in terms of economically and like everything.
They're rolling.
Yeah, like, you know, China and Japan, everything. They're going to be
even
balling.
South Korea, Japan, like they're nuts.
So, but you know that there's what I guess what I'm saying is like they're going to be calling like those elite. They're going to be calling that like these Chinese are exhibiting whiteness. Like they're already starting to do that. You know what I mean? Where they're going to start.
Well, look at
they're going to start attributing like where it's not. All it is just like privilege and class and shit, basically, right? It's the same story throughout human history.
Which and you have to look at it in the country. Like you see it like in China. There's a crazy class system. I mean, like, you know, you know, like. The whole movie fucking Crazy Rich Asians that just came out shows that, you know what I mean? Like, and there's clearly a class line, but now it's it's like, dude, you're not talking about like, they're talking about harassing like the Asian person on a bike with like 6 trash bags full of cans, like you know, going like that. They're talking about that, but like that's gonna be broadly put across somebody. Like for me, like I'm telling you, like I live in an apartment complex that is owned by Asian people. I'm not mad. I'm not saying I'm anti-Asian or anything, but that person has the power to oppress me if they want to.
Well, this is the whole
like that's I'm not trying to say it's a reverse racism thing. That's not what it is. I'm just saying there is nuance to it, to where you have to acknowledge the fact that there is a little bit of institutional power, to where all I heard about during the woke times from people who I actually like, who are, you know, on the woke side and stuff, will say like, there's power dynamics to it. You have to apply power dynamics to the wokeness for it to be effective, right? You have to understand that
they say that, but they never do it.
100%. So I'm trying to do it. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, like what?
That's the thing. That's
and I
the
live
thing.
In California, it's different. There's a huge Asian population out here, so it's like maybe in the Midwest, Asians don't own as much stuff. So I'm not trying to say for the South.
I think it's weird. I think New York City in particular has a lot of weird hate crimes, especially against Asian people and like, or traditionally Jewish people, you know, like Orthodox rabbis and shit. Like, you look at those numbers, they're crazy. There's like a lot of like targeted hate crimes. But the thing is like, again, it's like one of those weird, uncomfortable truths. Like, I'm not trying to like crime stat it or anything, but it's like, it's not.
Ooh, 13% of the population.
But well, it's not. No, I'm not even saying it's not like a what. Remember when there were all the like, there was just all like, what do you do when you're like, when these crimes happen and then there's rallies the next day to end like whiteness or whatever, or like and it's like, wait, what is like, like I'm against this. Like I don't want these hate crimes to happen. How do we stop this? And like, it's like, you guys are the ones that are obfuscating this, the people making it about like fucking color lines or whatever,
exactly.
I don't know.
It's like, what is it? Yeah. Like, you don't like, why do I know more about this than you do? It's that's all kind of just, like,
I don't know. I feel like we're like, it's when just the fact that we have to dance around this topic, you know what I mean? That like, we're, it's just like we're not racist people, you and
I know I'm not. I mean, we had gay stepdad on was the same way. Like, it's like we talked about it. We're like, I know I'm not. And like, that's such a like, well, classic whiteness can't be aware of.
Yeah. Like, it's exactly what someone would say. And it's, you can't like get out of that trap. It's like, and it's, so it's like,
what we're trying to say is we're the most oppressed is what we're
exactly. Our Patreon is in the bio. No,
Patreon's in the bio. Let's get these numbers up. I'm seeing but
no, it's an interesting thing. I think it's a very well, this is that whole thing where with the whole bi POC thing where it's you're either white or not, and it's like it's just varies so differently from fucking from region to region, from city to city, from country to country. It's just so like this shit is so complex, and the people that are saying like, no, this is complex, then all of a sudden they lose all complexity and like lose all granularity with it, and it's like, wait, what?
Just be objective. Please just be objective.
And
just
it's like,
if your narrative isn't at the top of something, it's okay. You know what I mean? If your narrative doesn't end up like rising to the top and all this stuff, like the narrative that you will never fact check, your narrative that you and like, okay, so I'm trying to
confusing. Like, you don't know what the rules are. You don't know like what to do, and you're like, how do I help? How do I be a part of the solution? And then
I'm not here to tell you. Google is free.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those interesting things.
But with the cops, back to the cops. So not long after the Derek Chauvin trial, not long after that, I was like posting. I was actually asking a few questions on there, on Twitter. Like, and it was like some people were getting like mad and like arguing with each other, and I was like, no, I just want to like. I like seriously want to just pick people's brains. Like when I ask these questions on Twitter from the RC account at RareCandyPod1, when I say that stuff, I'm not trying to like, caught you in your own logic. Oops. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we're not those types.
Nope. I literally want to find out your unfiltered thought. Like, I want to find out exactly what it was. So I asked, I said, should police
that you do that? Yeah.
Should police have a union? I said that. Yeah. I said, because that's clearly something that's aiding in cops get skating off. And I said, look, in my opinion, I don't think public, and then when I say in my opinion, I mean ideally in this society that I'm living in behind me on YouTube. Please subscribe to Rare Candy Pod on YouTube. But in that society, I'm not talking about existing in capitalism. I'm saying I don't think public sector people should have unions.
Okay. Yeah.
Why? Like, why should they?
Yeah.
You are basic. They're unionizing against you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So like the cop union is the police union is like head and head a way of like getting people off of murder, keeping qualified immunity up, and keeping these things in their way. So I'd be like, man, if we didn't have a police union, that would be a lot better. And now I will say, even in capitalism, under the society that we do live in, do garbage men employed by the city have the same PR that cops do right now? Are garbage men killing unarmed people? Are bus drivers killing unarmed people? I remember he uppercut that one chick one time. That was hilarious. That one video. Just saying. But like, are they? No. So like, I mean, you could like pick and choose there, but I'm saying ideally in my thing, when somebody works for the public, I just want a strong infrastructure investment. I want a country that invests in infrastructure and public service.
Oh no, see, but that's rooted in whiteness is what they're
saying. It is. No, I'm a class reductionist. Sorry. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever. I'll admit to it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but I want to, because I'm saying, you know, who actually kind of like him and I were going back and forth on it. Somebody who I love, who's been on the show, is River. Where we're going back and forth. He was like, look, man, like, I know what you're saying, but like, you know, you have teachers, cops, and people that like are employed by the state. Like, they fuck you when you don't have a union. It's like, no. I 100% agree. Like, I'm a huge union guy.
But I'm also, you're like the biggest union guy.
But I'm also in the private sector, so it's a bit different. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, you know, you shouldn't ideally want to have like a bargaining agent in between the public and the public service, right? Like, it's a unique situation. Especially when safety is involved. When you're talking about safety and justice, like, you don't want to have like the fucking Better Call Saul guy come in defending the cop. Like, you don't want that.
Well, the thing is like that. Look at like teachers union or cops union or whatever. Like, the whole thing gets politicized so quickly that the union itself becomes its own like monster, you know. Its own.
And look what the teachers union did with COVID, with how we had Alex
Chicago and California and everything. Yeah, exactly.
Brutal. And I'm not saying, like, I know teachers get fucked like pay wise, but they have a union and they're fucked pay wise.
That's what I'm. Like, exactly.
So I'm
oh, dude, and the teachers union is the worst for like the, you know, the top people making like fat six figures, like, you know, rolling. I remember our middle school when the fucking the head
kind of looked like this, oddly, with more colors.
It's
kind of weird. But
where they remodeled it like halfway through. Remember?
I remember you'd be in class, and then there'd be like some like day laborer guy just like doing a paint roller right next to you. Like, oh, all right,
But I remember the head of the head of the whole union thing. I don't know, one of those fucking whatever organization or whatever, and we were like you know, like one of those school, they visited our school to be like, oh, you guys are doing a great job. And I was like part of the beta nerd video production crew. Remember?
That's what it was called, verbatim.
Yeah. And these motherfuckers showed up in like a stretch limo.
Yeah.
And I was like 12 being like, wait, what's going on here? Like, and I was just like, and so, and everyone's like, it was so weird. And I just felt that was like a young moment, and when I just felt that evil fucking PMC, not even PMC, like above that, you know, the fucking
you were a post-left 8th grader.
Oh, totally, dude. I was just like, wait, this is not like, these guys aren't helping our teachers, you know, or us, you know.
No,
like,
not at all. Teachers are union employees buying their own school supplies.
Exactly, dude.
Like, I'm just saying, like at some point you have to realize that these public things are here to just absorb tax dollars. Now, in the private sector, you're not absorbing tax dollars, and you need it. Trust me, you absolutely need it to survive in capitalism. Every job in the private sector should try to be unionized. That's my take. I'm not trying to shit. I'm not trying to have some Amy Therese take where I shit on like unions overall. I'm saying, like, for real. I
defer to you on all this shit, because I literally I don't know how unions work at all. Like,
I've been in the fucking mud with labor. Like, it's happened. Like, I 100% agree, like, with that. But so back to this. I like, what would you do about the police? Like, do you defund them? No. Like, you don't defund the police. I'm sorry. Even to fix the police, you can't defund them. Like, you have to fix them. I see all people post.
But what about defunding to the degree that they've been extra funded over the last 10 years?
So 100%. Do they need the fucking insane military budget that we have? I'd love a separate budget. I'd love to see their budget tied in with more like municipal fucking you know, like that, rather than the military budget. And you know,
go back to the nightsticks and pistols and none of this fucking like Desert Eagle fucking shit.
I said, I still see a case where, look, like, there could be still violent crime where you need a cop to still have some military equipment to, like, if there's some fucking mass shooter and stuff, like, you might need a little bit. So now here's the thing. When you see, I'm trying to like organize my thoughts, because I don't want to just be all over the place with this, because I was thinking about this all week. But okay, you don't defund the police. You don't I'm saying defund them, and some people go defund, and some people even say abolish them. It's like, you don't even think that. I'm sorry, like, you don't even think that. You were just helping the fucking, like, especially these Antifa fucking weirdos that were just doxing people that were raiding the Capitol to the feds. And you're saying defund the police. Like, fuck you.
The top cops, dude.
The top cops. They want to be the cops, not defund the police. Make me the police. That's their fucking slogan. And it's like,
and that's so obvious.
The worst. Anybody,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, when you grow up, anybody that wants to be any position of authority is the worst kid to hang out with when you grow up. Even if it's Antifa fucking kid, like, you know what I mean, with a Sex Pistols patch on his little denim vest or something. Like, and I don't know, man. Like, you don't defund the police. Now, I will say, like, my whole thing has always been get rid of qualified immunity. I want them tried as citizens whenever these situations arise, right? Where you're talking about planting evidence on people, or you're talking about a murder. And I'm not talking about a gray area situation, because there were a couple kind of gray area situations that happened after the Floyd trial that got a little thing that were very much debate gray area situations. But because I want community audits. I want third-party audits of cops, patrol, third party, the way the Black Panthers used to do it.
Who polices the police?
Exactly. I want police policed by somebody that's not the fucking police union, is what I'm saying.
There's no mechanism to keep the state in check.
So I want that. I want cops tried as citizens, and there's arguments from like some kind of post-left kind of thing that say that are against qualified immunity, and I think they're bullshit. I'm sorry. They go, well, then no one's gonna want to be a cop. I'm sorry, dude. If you wanted to be a cop because there was qualified immunity, you shouldn't be a fucking cop.
Exactly.
Like, dude, hey, I heard you could not go to jail.
Which, let's be honest, dude, that's at least 8% of cops.
Yeah.
At least.
Be anecdotal with it. You knew the kid that wanted to be a cop growing up. He 100%. Wanted to beat the shit out of the big athletic fucking black dude in school and wanted to have a reason to do it.
Yeah. But like couldn't without weapons and shit. Yeah. Or like, no, what you're saying right now, and maybe people accuse me of being like a soak dem or whatever, but I am like a what's the next step kind of guy, and I feel like our both like who we make fun of online in terms of like the whole left sphere or whatever, who we make fun of, and also people in our like circle or whatever are like both have this like brainworm infection where we just get way too trapped in our heads, way too theory based. Not against like theory bros or anything like that, but like where we forget we can't see the forest for the trees, and it's like, okay, what's the next step? Like, we're not gonna have communism overnight. Like, what can we do tomorrow? And so what you're saying about qualified immunity, that's like a perfectly beautiful step, like one step we can take, like just immediately. That's like
a cop goes to jail if he kills somebody on fucking camera and it's clearly murder.
That's a great example.
And then you don't have some shitty fucking bureaucratic union fucking this like. I don't think the police union's going anywhere personally. I think that's very idealistic. I think we're still going to have to deal with that for forever.
Do you remember all those videos after remember all those crazy like those couple weeks where the old guy in Buffalo got pushed onto the concrete,
I know,
and all those crazy examples of them, like, it's like it was very clear. I was like, okay, these guys are like abusing people. And then remember like the NYC union leader, the NYPD union leader, he's like, he just basically, he went up on stage and he cried in front of like all. He's like,
that was classic.
Remember, he's like, my badge still has a shine on it. And I'm like, bro, it doesn't. Like,
and he was like, Jorge Posada was the best catcher ever.
Exactly. And I'm like, dude, just like I hate to say it, but like, take the L. Like, you look like shit right now because
and they can't.
Literally, you're running people over with your cop cars. And you can't you can't see that like people don't like that,
exactly. And we're doing like kind of a both sides thing, but honestly, like, when there's clearly radical fucking dumb dead end politics being happen, you have to be able to at least create a pathway, because like you said, and this is the other side of it. This is the other side. The people who are like super hyper theory, like, no, theoretically under communism and we're gonna need to have this. Okay. I'm going to say this and I'm not the like guy who talks to black people. I'm not trying to have that like, saying, but black people are not going to sit around and wait for capitalism to end.
That's
before police to deal with police brutality. Because people will say, hey, see the bigger picture, Jamal, with their hand around the thing. See the bigger picture, man. Here's the thing. We're gonna have to defeat capitalism first. And it's like, dude, I have cops that are like outside my house that watch me go to fucking work every single day, and and it could be that happens. That happens. Bro. You can throw the crime stats at me. You can throw anything like that. You can't quantify black people's fear of the police. You can't.
No.
Or Mexican. And when I say black people, I should say people of color and even poor white people. There is a thing where police do harass poor white people too. It's not a all lives matter thing. The police serve the purpose of fucking rich people, dude. They fucking do.
No, that's where I draw the line, and that's where I fucking disagree with Amy. Where like all she does is talk about like the state and like, oh, the powers of the state, and then she'll like simp for cops, and I'm like, yo, what? Like, what do you?
Which, like, again, there's still a need for cops. There's still a need for cops because, like I said, somebody like Amy Therese walking to her car at night might not feel safe walking by herself. I understand that.
Yeah,
I for sure understand that.
Oh,
like, and you need that.
You know, I got love for my girl too, and I'm not like fucking.
Nah, that's like,
yeah,
I understand like that. I'm not trying to like do that, but like, come on, dude, you have to understand that there are people who vehemently fucking hate police, and it's not because they like a black dude doesn't go home and watch CNN and be like, you know what, I hate police. They don't do that. Like, this is personal experience from stuff like that.
It's real lived experience.
Like I'm looking at Bree Newsom Bass. Bree Newsom Bass is posting fucking which it would be sick if she changed her name to Bree Newsom Bass and started DJing, by the way. And but but she ended up like saying some, I don't know if I bookmarked the tweet or not. It was so fucking stupid. I can't remember if I bookmarked it or just sent it to somebody, but she had this really stupid take on it where it was like, white people need to, you know, just confront their whiteness and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I guarantee her end game in this is a product that white people need to buy, right? Like a commodifiable product. And 2, just talk to a black person. That's all you gotta do. Just talk to a black person, see their concern with the police. Most of them aren't like defund the police, like please like get cops out of the thing. They're like, no, dude, like fucking, because when you look at cops, right? When you look at garbage men, like let's look at public servant. When you look at garbage men, when you look at bus drivers, they look like public servants, right? They look like people who provide a public service. Do cops look like public servants?
Not, they used to, not anymore.
No, no, they look like legit military, like authories. They do. Yeah. Like they're clearly here to police the underclass. They're clearly here to do that. And you can say, oh no, they're here. You're bypassing, you know, class. You're saying class because no, I'm sorry. Like, look at the numbers. It's disproportionately people of color in that class, like per capita. So it's an umbrella term. So that's what I mean. But like, they're clearly here to serve that. And it's okay to hate cops. It's okay to hate cops and still see the big picture. Like I don't like cops. I don't like them. I'm sorry. Like I don't like them. I still see the need for them. But I don't see the need for authorities.
The problem is there's no line. Like Adam Lehrer was saying, because I think he was getting into it with some like defund type or whatever, where they're like, so they're like, you want cops? And he's like, yeah. He's like, my wife just got like punched.
Yeah, that was in my.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, or in the, I didn't know the pod that, thing. Yeah.
And I was like, you know, my wife just got punched on the subway, and we called the cops, and they handled it. Like, I want that. And I'm like, that's good, you know. And it's like we need that. We need something like that.
Yeah, and I want cops to only be here for violent crime. That's what I want cops here for. I don't want cops doing traffic stops, finding. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. People are insane drivers, so you still need that too. I'm just saying, like, the people could literally kill you with their car. So I understand that, but I'm talking about like this guy's fucking tags are bad. Like, let's fucking take him to jail for like, you know, shit like that. I like that. So when people say like cops are like, because there's another thing where it's kind of like a, you know, post left like Republican kind of take where I don't like it either, where it'll be like, well, you know, we could definitely scale down on cops, but crime's not going to take a break. And I'm like, well, here's the thing, focus on violent crime and not just fucking bullshit. Like,
it's hella weird that the same person that gives you a bullshit traffic ticket to pay their pension is the same dude that is like arresting a meth addict or something. You know, it's kind of weird. Like, and the SWAT shit is out of control. These like tactical, like the Breonna Taylor thing, like the amount of there's like more false alarms for that shit than like anything. And it's just it's a total LARP, you know. They're just like they're doing like the hand signals to like go into like a fucking Denny's or something, you know. And it's like and the asset seizure shit, that shit is wild. Like what? Like they're literally that's like beyond capitalism. Like the state is just taking your money from the trunk of your car, like without any. That's like, and it's like, and I don't get why people are defending that at all. You know, what's your solution to?
And these are like, you know, why did we hate when Biden won? Right, he was the crime bill guy. Yeah, but then we're gonna like simp for cops.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
I mean, I'm not. And look, it's the same way how you and I'll look at it this way, right? Cops, I'll agree that like. It's the same way, like with this young girl that got killed, the one with the knife.
Mm-hmm.
So she got killed by police. Now,
yeah,
all I saw, and this is a tangent. I have a point I want to get to, but this is
I wanted, because I don't know too much about this. My
so
mom,
I don't know either, and I purposely don't want to. Here's why. I purposely don't want to know about this. You know why? Because I'm tired of looking at isolated incidents of police killings.
Boom.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, of looking at it like do Sports Center. Let's look at the live look in sports science of should the cop have shot this person? Like, I hate that. No, like, you're gonna look here, you're gonna see a duck of 22 degrees of the head simulating reaching for a gun. It's like, dude, first off, there was a kid, 13-year-old kid killed. I think he was at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And like he did like reach down, right? You could see him reach down. I watched the video and the cop shot him, right? So, you know, predictably, you have the cop guy going, well, you know, the cop simps going, no, they reached down. Of course, the cop had to do it. Like, he thought he was going to die. And then you have the people going, this kid. But here's the thing. Why is this kid 13 years old at 4 a.m. have a pistol on him in a fucking neighborhood that looks like Beirut in the 80s? Do we get to that? Why is George Floyd counterfeiting $20 bills to buy things? Do we get to that?
That's exactly.
Why is this kid this girl who's a foster kid who has nobody standing up for him? Because I'm sorry, when you see two 16-year-olds fighting with knives, fucking tackle one of them. And I'm not talking about the cops. I'm talking about people in that neighborhood. Live communally. Stop that yourself. It's not a gun. Stop them yourself.
Yeah. There's,
you know what I mean? Like, and look, I posted a tweet that also said, hey, if you see two knife fights outside, two people fighting with knives, and that I actually didn't really, it stemmed from that, but I'm not talking about the actual fight. People were trying to act like, oh, see, you have to, they're showing like screenshots. I'm like, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
Of the fight. Like, I'm talking about what do you do? Who calls the cops? Now, the people I see who I think come from like richer neighborhoods were like, yeah, you call the cops.
Yeah.
And then there were people who come from like apartment complex neighborhoods who were like, you don't do shit.
Yeah,
you know
no, yeah. Do you? That was a great. I loved that because it was like, it wasn't like what should the cops do. It's like, it's should you call them? And that was an interesting question that no one was asking. Which was like, obviously, like if the cops are there, they're gonna do a certain.
You know
thing.
Who snitched on themselves the most?
Who?
The people who go, you go out. There's this, I don't fault the people. I don't think they're doing anything bad by this. I just know that they are completely wrong when they say this.
They
go out, they go, what you do is you run outside and say, hey, the cops are on their way. Okay. If you live in a certain neighborhood where maybe there's gang populations and stuff, and they find out you're the guy that said, even if you didn't call the cops, but you ran out and said you're on my, you're done. And like there were people who were like saying like, you don't say shit. I'm sorry, dude. Like you don't say shit. And that, you know, again, I agree. If you live in where I'm at, like if you live in like Marin or like Menlo Park and stuff, like what the fuck? Like it's two people fighting in my $2 million house neighborhood in front of me on Zillow. They're fighting in my driveway in front of the gate, you know, and I get that. But nonetheless, I'm tired of looking at these like isolated incidents, right? I'm tired of looking at it. I want to analyze the material conditions. But, you know, in a vacuum, I still want these cops tried, right? Still want them tried, you know, like even like, I'm sorry, like, it's a tough job. I won't say that police is an easy job. It's not. Look at Chaz. Chaz tried to do it and they fucking had murders and rapes. Like it's just like, you know,
and it's just like there's just insane mental health shit now flourishing into physical manifestations of, you know, violence and all this stuff. Like we live in a fucked up country, man. It's like, you know, it's like, what do you, exactly. It's wild.
Yeah. And we don't, I don't know, like the like I said, the young girl that died, the young guy that died, like I'm tired of looking at them as isolated incidents. I want to find out more about why they're in the position that they're in.
Yeah.
Because we do need to get rid of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people get fucked up at is like we don't you know, we don't analyze that. We don't analyze where these people come from, but we analyze like why they died and you know, this small,
it's literally the show cops for Twitter now, you know,
exactly. Live PD, this small like 0.3 second, you know, thing where, and again, like you're showing these things in like freeze frames. It's like neither the cop or the person is watching this in slow motion. So like, that doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about reacting in real time. And like, I had a couple people DM me and they say like, look, I like you guys. And these are like some of my like Raider people, you know what I mean? That are like, look, I I trust you to say this, and I trust you to not like judge me. And I screenshotted everything they said. No, but they sent it to their employer
and pulled up right
now. Whiteness alert. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they sent it to me, and they're like, look, like, you know, I kind of like understand why the cop shot here. And I'm like, well, first off, like, our cops are trained to kill.
Yeah. And
they're not trained to defuse. Like, you know, the Joe Biden, like, shoot him in the leg. Everyone remembers that quote. But I'm like, yeah, shoot him in the fuck. Like, why are you killing people? Like, shoot him in the fucking leg. Like,
or just fire off a round into the ground.
That was
like, you know,
that one too. With the knife fight, I guarantee if you fire off a round in the air, that knife fight stops.
Yeah. And it's like, shoot him in the leg. I know everyone made fun of that, but like, it's like, I'd rather be shot in the leg.
That's not even his real take. He's like, killed him.
Yeah, exactly. That's his tone it down. Like, take. Yeah, exactly.
Shoot him in the artery, the very vital artery in their leg.
Yeah, femoral artery. Yeah. No, exactly, dude. Yeah, and there's not even. And I'm just on like a. It's so dumb how like there's not even a. Like. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like a martial arts bro. I mean, I'll like read. I'll like LARP and read about that shit because I think it's cool, like ancient shit or whatever. But man, it's like, you know, you always see those cool like diffuser bros that like, you know, whether even in like Better Call Saul and like Mike, you know, like that motherfucker. You know, like I know it's a fiction or whatever, but like there's a real basis to this where like, you know, you can take someone's gun from them, you can take someone's knife from them if you're trained. You know, if you're like. Not in like some like fucking pussy way, but like some like cool way where you
fucking Rex like, Kwando.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, and it's like, but we've lost that art. We've lost that. Everything's tactical now. Everything's like you gotta use my fucking night vision goggles and my fucking no safety pistol and everything. You know what I mean? It's all that shit now, and it's like it's just interesting. It's like,
no, and like I remember reading something when the George Floyd murder first happened was like the Minneapolis MPD, you know, the police department was trained by like IDF soldiers and shit. It's like Israeli Defense Force. Like, what the fuck, dude?
At on Morad, the fucking
I know. It was probably that's honestly probably what happened. This was probably the Who Is America or whatever that show. But no, like this stuff like means a lot to me because like as I kind of take the mask off of the left, I still have this take. Like I can't just be like, oh no, I'm a cop guy now because the left is anti-cop. Like I can't do that.
It's so dumb. Yeah,
I just can't bring myself to do that. And I'll take whatever comes with that. And I'm not like, again, am I anti-police? No, but I'm anti what this is right now. And I think most people want, dude, even conservatives are like, I've talked to conservatives. I'm not talking about Ben Shapiro, like Tucker Carlson people who are. Dude, by the way, did you see the Daily Wire had like I obviously didn't watch it, but they had a 3-hour reaction to the Floyd trial. Like
that's just straight porn, dude. That's just like literally there.
It was like 8 guys. I only recognize Shapiro, but like it was but like
fucking nerds, dude.
And it's just like I'm against what this is now, you know. And again, like the reason I didn't like Biden was a lot of the stuff was authoritarian crime bill stuff, and we're seeing a lot of it right now. And even some of the other people who have another galaxy brain take, which I don't even think this is wrong, is like maybe this will lead to automated police forces.
Oh
God. which honestly, like if Democrats start running with defund the police, like Blue Dog Democrats, I think that is where it's going. If I really start seeing, because right now they're doing the that's not a popular phrase. That's what like the Blue Dog Democrats are saying. But if they start running with that, I do see that. But again, what is the alternative? I'm supposed to be like, Derek Chauvin should walk because I'm scared of the RoboCop dog. You know what I mean? Like no.
You can't put a robot in jail.
Exactly.
It's like iRobot or
exactly.
Exactly.
It's
also what's the well, I will say, like, have you looked? It is crazy. The numbers are getting pretty bad. Like murder rates are like tripling in some cities, and it's pretty nuts.
You think that's like, maybe because we have a really high unemployment rate, and because we might have locked down the entire country, and maybe people are starving?
The fucking that Oakland robbery, that it was an Asian family, and there was a big Asian hate thing, and the woman literally said, they're like. I remember I read the article and they're like, they literally said like, we're robbing you because times are hard right now because of COVID and lockdowns, and they're like, we're gonna take your life savings because like I'm fucked if I don't do this. And I was like, oh shit, like why wasn't that like the headline? Why wasn't that like?
Well, dude, Chris Cuomo said a thing where he's like, I guess it's going to take white children to start dying from police to people to care.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Cuomo, find out why George Floyd was counterfeiting $20 bills. I bet you don't care.
Yeah,
I bet you don't care.
Yeah, good point.
Find that out. You know what I mean? And like, look, the cops do shoot poor white people. And then now the sad part is white people don't care. That's the sad part. Like I've always felt that thing. It's like, well, then go march in the street for him then. You know what I mean? Like I don't, it's nuts. But what's has anything been? I mean, I know he was found guilty, but like, has anything been popping off in Portland about?
Well, it's funny. My mom said, I was talking to my mom about it, and she's like, because she was like, we were talking about her vaccine reaction, and that was the first like 20 minutes, and then she's like, well, like on a brighter note, like great news, right? Great news. And I'm like, wait, like what are you talking about? What news? And she's like, oh, they found him guilty. I was like, oh, Chauvin. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's good news, and I was like, I agree. And then she's like, and look what happened, that happened. No riots anywhere, no riots in Minneapolis, no like any. And it's like, that's right, you do the right thing and like riots don't happen. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. We mentioned it earlier in the pod. And then she's like, but you're in Portland and like there's still riots going on over there. What's up with that? Like why are they still like burning stores if they did the right thing? And I'm like, you don't get it. You don't know.
So what is that? Like so like because it's either so even that in itself is this weird dumb binary where it's like you're either Andy No or you're Antifa. Like
that's what Portland is, dude. That's what it's like. It's like
so why are they burning down the Apple store?
They just, dude, it's just anarchoids. It's just straight anarchists, dude. It's like not even in the
Can we pay gay stepdad to live in Portland? Like if I had money, I would pay gay stepdad to live in Portland for like 2 months.
He'd be like the cool Andy No. He'd be like
I would want him to be the not like Andy No, but like his own Andy No, just freelance journalist, just everything he saw.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh my, like Hunter S. Thompson almost style. Like
clip that and quote him with this. Yeah, we got to get him out there.
If we start like really making like crypto money, like I wanna do that. Like I will literally like, oh, here's your flat in Portland.
Yeah,
there's some twinks for you out there.
Yeah,
you're good. Like,
well, it's funny. I remember, I have a friend that's kind of in that circle, and they've been they're kind of like a Chapo lib or whatever, but hella smart and like hella funny, like one of the funniest people I know. They them, I call them gay them because they're just like
gay them.
But,
my pronouns are gay them.
But they're kind of in that circle, kind of more definitely like more rad, like Libby, like
gotcha.
Antifa kind of. And they were once arrested for shattering like a Chase bank window, which is like and it's funny they got caught because of like their hair dye or something. It like literally was like
is it blue?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, or maybe it was that. I don't know.
No, well, okay, but, then what was it? Yeah. Their hair dye. What is it? A 47-year-old man hiding just for men tips or something? I'm sorry, a 47-year-old just for they them.
You just gotta get rid of the grays, man. Yeah,
just for they.
Yeah. But just for them, dude. Just for them.
Just for them. Okay, that's the episode art. Yeah, I just hope you know that. We got to get the box. We'll do like the box, like the box of the thing where it's the guy. Yeah.
We'll do like a salt and pepper, like handsome dude with like pink or something. Yeah.
Yes.
That'll be.
Ching with the art mix itself.
But I don't know. I think it's like a. And I got like a lot of respect for this, but they're hilarious. They're like one of my favorite people, even though like we probably diverged a little bit like politically or whatever, right. And like they probably don't like Glenn Greenwald or whatever, like that kind of thing.
It's okay. Nobody's perfect. No.
Yeah. And but I don't know. It's just a different. Well, Portland's interesting because it's the weirdest place. It's not like San Mateo or fucking Campbell or or Santa Cruz or like or upstate New York or or anything, any of the other liberal, because it's like it's weird because most people here are just like like Karen libs, especially like with this COVID shit, you know. And then there's like there is a huge like kind of like, and I say this as like I'm there, I totally get it, you know, I'm not judging, but there's this huge like burnout, like I'm 35 in a punk band like culture kind of thing, you know, where it's yeah, exactly, which is a huge part of this whole like, you know, Antifa thing. And then there's and it's like huge percentage of white people, right? Like mostly white people.
Just 3-chord Antifa songs. Yeah, sorry.
But it's crazy because there is a huge well, it's small but very fierce.
That's what I say about me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, like a small but very fierce history of like real neo-Nazi shit out here, not like the fake, you know, like like legit, like they're like actually want, you know,
right. Santa Cruz is like that too.
And Oregon's like Oregon's like a pretty racist state if you look up the history of the state, you know. So it's weird, kind of like there's this weird thing where it's like mostly white people policing other white people, and like doing the whole like center by POC thing, you know, with like, you know, just like trying too hard, you know, kind of thing, you know, that vibe. And the Antifa thing is like a reaction to the whole like, you know, the legit neo-Nazi thing. But now it's just like the Proud Boys thing, which is now it's just all like fucking, again, like Twitter clip, like YouTube, like, you know, like check out what, you know, like Andy.
If I see Nick Fuentes, I'll fucking stab him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just
and it's
shit.
So it's just devolved into this like endless, pointless fucking just over and over again.
Yeah. What is the end of it? That's like what,
you know, what's funny? Remember, well, the Floyd protests were going on, and in the beginning I was like, this is sick, this is history, like, and then people were shutting down the bridge and stuff, you know, and it was like pretty like powerful scene. Maybe I'm just a lib or whatever, but like, you know, like everyone's like just sitting there and like it sat down for like 8 minutes and however many seconds, you know, whatever that is, you know, that whole thing. I was like, this is cool. And then you know, it turned into, we've talked about it on the pod, you know, where it's like, you know, it just becomes like,
it's important to know what it turned into. It's important to know that it turned into 10, like the Black Lives Matter lady, I don't remember her name is, but she bought the house. Did you see that one?
Like the 5 houses or whatever. Yeah,
she bought the house where there's like a record low amount of black people in her neighborhood, where she's she's like, I'm out, like I'm done. I don't want to live there. What are you talking about? And
it's
like
funny.
No, you see that like it clearly was like, the thing is
well,
there can be something organic. There can be something organic that happens. There can be something organic that gets co-opted by the Democratic Party. It happens all the time. The Black Panthers fucking and shit like that. Everything gets co-opted by the Democratic Party. That doesn't mean that it wasn't an organic start to it, right?
Well, yeah, and exactly. And well, what happened? What I find funny is it devolved into this completely like anarchoid kind of thing. Just like endless, you know, like burning the court building and do all this like whatever, you know,
techno DJing.
And it gets, you know, it's just like, it gets old. There's no demands, there's no like anything. And then the only thing that stopped it was when there was the like for 100 days, it went on for like 100 days, and the only thing that stopped it was like the Portland wildfires, when there was like a blanket of, you couldn't see like fucking 20 feet in front of your face. Because it was just like, and that's the only thing that like put a pause on like
and then what wasn't I remember there was somebody saying that Antifa started those. I love those.
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of like both sides started it kind of thing.
So
you know?
funny.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so other than the fact that we just have like the driest fucking West Coast years ever in history. But no, it's interesting because like out here it's not really like that. People just put signs in their yard. That's all it is in the Bay Area now. It's too rich.
Maybe maybe Oakland, Berkeley's like
it could happen. But like I was, you know, I was working in downtown San Jose the other day, and like I just saw an obviously gentrified downtown neighborhood. Like obviously gentrified. Biden, Harris. You know, Black Lives Matter. This house, we believe in science. This house, I get pegged by my wife. Like things like signs in the front yard that really show your identity. And
I've been
I get railed by my wife, and she berates me. You know. It's
fucking I don't know. It's so interesting. It's so interesting how those types feed into the like the conservatives are like, these Antifa Soros types are taking over and stuff, and it's like they don't not have a point. It's really the libs that look the other way on this shit, and it's like they're kind of like, it's kind of they are the proxy for the in this house.
Yeah, but conservatives don't care about
right. Yeah,
no, it's like they're running parallel to the actual problem,
and they'll never be radical. Like the sign libs, and there's tons of those in Portland. They'll never be radical. They'll never do anything. And in most ways they're part of the problem. They
might be the problem, honestly.
Exactly,
like, yeah.
And so that's their LARP basically. If as long as they can, like, and but of course, if it gets a little too close to home, they're calling the fucking cops, which is the funny thing.
Again, on the Capitol people, like, I remember seeing this one guy. Know him from sports Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know him from sports Twitter, but again, was kind of treading along the lines I was politically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Split off completely after COVID, which is a theme here. And he was like, his like name was Anti-Fa, like anti.
Yeah,
he's white.
Oh,
so
I know.
I'm sorry, white people don't call their ants auntie, so you're culturally appropriating.
Yeah.
And but anyways, it was Anti-Fa was his like name.
Yeah.
And like his tweets went from like in a month, like fucking kill all the fucking cops, like fucking oh man, I'm gonna fucking slit Derek Chauvin's throat. And then he's like, whoa, Moscow Mitch wants to say this about, dude, about those Mueller report and blah, 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 blah.
It's
like
the
just
same
dumb
thing.
shit like that. It's like, you just like, so this whole thing was for liberalism.
Yeah,
like you did this to do like neoliberalism. Why? Because of harm reduction, right? They believe in harm reduction on this shit.
And it's so like easy. It's so obvious to exactly.
Yeah,
I do want to say
he also had a tweet that said it was funny. He goes like AAVE when he wants to be a super lib. Like, like you ever see the super lib tweets from white people in AAVE? It's the best when when they say. By the way, I remember one of our old Candace Owens bit when I said I thought AAVE was a Motor Trend Truck of the Year award, but
I forgot about that.
That came up on my computer the other day. I started laughing really hard. Yeah. But he'd be like, "Y'all ain't double masking yet. Y'all better catch up."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I was like, you're from Oregon. Yeah. What is what is happening?
No, I do want to say about that, the BLM house buying thing. I find it funny that like the whole I'm definitely not defending her. I think it's ironic and hypocritical. I find it funny that like buying a house is like the bad thing that you can do now,
And where else would you buy the house, honestly?
But no, but I'm but it's like, this is why I'm like, I don't call myself a fucking communist or even I don't even know. Like I'm gonna buy a house when I have the means to, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna play this game. Like, I'm sorry.
The problem is she dug herself that hole.
Exactly.
So you closed off all those avenues.
So you created the label. You wanted to be the hardcore, not even like in the classical sense, like Marxism, the Marxists, but that like what the conservatives are LARPing about, making fun of or whatever. And it's like, and boom, then the second you get a little cash, you buy like 5 homes in non-black neighborhoods, which is the funny thing,
And then the rest of that money doesn't go to Tamir Rice's mom to bury her son. The rest of that money goes to Joe Biden's campaign, goes to that. That's a true thing. When conservatives say that, like I see these people and I feel a need to like reach out to some of these people. Again, I see them. They're just trying to fight conservatives. So they have to buy into the liberal narrative because they're trying to fight conservatives, right? They're going to say, no. Fuck that lady. She does not care about you. You know what I mean? She doesn't care about you. These conservatives are wrong, because if the conservatives cared, they'd want the money to go to Tamir Rice's mom.
Totally.
If the conservatives care.
Yeah. No, it's hypocritical.
They didn't care.
I guess what I'm saying, and again, like, fuck her for being, disingenuous or whatever, but I do find it weird on like I hate this whole like policing people's like upward mobility, where like if you better your lot in life the slightest bit to where
but she had very upward mobility. Like
for sure.
I don't think we're starting from the same checkpoint.
I'm not even talking about her. I'm talking about like literally like Jimmy Dore. Like if you could become a successful YouTuber, comedian, podcaster, and you buy a home in LA over $1 million. Like, so fucking what? That's life.
Dude. If I just
like,
made the best hazy IPA of all time, and,
dude,
you know,
like,
and I buy a house off of it, you know,
like I'm not gonna LARP and pretend that, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't know, you know,
but they won't either. That's the thing. They'll all do the same fucking thing. We're all products of this shit. Like we're all existing under capitalism, and like that's the thing. Like
I'm a fucking trader, dude. I'm like I want to get like rich off Bitcoin. You know, it's like I get the contradiction. I fully
and I'm sorry, we're not going to see communism or socialism. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
we had a lockdown where
doubled billionaires' wealth. Yeah,
double billionaires' wealth, and no
1.7 trillion,
no general strike, no nothing, no worker organization. It was, you could think of, could you have thought of a better time to organize workers?
Yeah,
than under that stuff. No, so we're not going to see that right now. So when people try to succeed under capitalism, it's not this weird ethical thing. It's the same people who say there's no ethical consumption under capitalism who want to police people buying houses in capitalism. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's just like, again, you and I are not going to run, you know, a fucking Democrat like shell company though either. So that's also different. Yeah, I mean, like exactly. that's where I'm mad at her. I'm not mad at her for buying the house. That was just some collateral funny thing to laugh at, you know.
Yeah,
like just like,
and it is funny. It is funny.
Yeah, that was and like in the neighborhood that had the least amount of like black population. Like it's very funny. Like you moved it. That's organized, weird, man. You organized this huge campaign, literally called Black Lives Matter, and you ran away from black people. Like that's very funny.
And
like,
it's hilarious. And it's I think it's, man, it's like it speaks something. There's something going on there, not just with her, but with the broader, like, why leave? You know, like what does that say? You know, it's like, and it's, I don't know, it's interesting.
No, it's
like, that's why like Redman was cool. He became like a millionaire.
Best MTV Cribs of all time.
Stayed in the the best.
I had a box of just $1 bills, a shoe box. It was like a Reebok box full of just $1 bills. And then I remember his DVD collection thing. Like it was I want to say he had a Dreamcast.
Sega.
I want to say he had a Dreamcast. And that's cool. Like again, you know, I know my enemy, right? I know my enemy is not the rapper that gets rich and moves to the suburbs. That's not my enemy.
And I mean, and I don't know, maybe I'm like I don't know. I just feel I think there's some weird abundance shit with like the political left where, like, you know, you're kind of like, you're either guilty of making, there's a lot of guilt of, again, I think a lot of these problems could solve would just be like, you know, with just some redistribution of like this insane corporate and billionaire shit. Like I'm not tripping.
The order of operations. We're bypassing the order of operations. That's the whole thing with Floyd. The whole thing with Floyd is, why is he counterfeiting $20 bills? Let's fix that situation. Like, that's why I'm tired, and I'm glad you brought this back. That's why I'm tired of analyzing these one. And I'm not trying to like bypass black trauma or anything, because I understand watching that's got to be fucked up. You know what I mean? Like
totally, yeah.
But I'm tired of analyzing them one by one as isolated.
Because it'll never end. It'll
never end.
Yeah.
But the order of operations is not to defund the police, right?
Yeah.
That's not the order of operations is to fix poverty, right? Yeah. Have a police that serves the underclass.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like have your police be the product of your underclass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, from the ground up. Yeah. We're gonna, if we get our shit straight as humanity, we're gonna eventually fix that problem, the poverty thing, and be like, oh, that was the root of like 80, 90, 95% of this shit.
And then it becomes a no-brainer, right? And even on the accountability side, from the conservative side, they're like, well, I think we need to make our own beds here, and you know, you could have that accountability. You have that excuse for someone to have accountability, where it's like, look, you have a house, you have food, you have this, you have fucking reverse osmosis water pumped into your fucking house, distilled water, like you have this, you have good drinking water, like you have all this stuff, and why are you still fucking up? Then the conservative narrative even has some credence to it. You know what I'm saying?
Funny.
Like you have to fix that. There is a root cause to it. You know, like
I do find it funny, the whole, where is I going with that? The whole, well, I do hate that whole conservative, like the whole. Well, I kind of agree where Okay, like, you know what I've been listening to lately is that just kind of, it just pops on my YouTube. You know that the financial bro, Dave Ramsey. You know the
I don't
whole
know.
he's like some old Southern dude. He's like one of those like, you know, like how to save for retirement and get out of debt, like classic
Right.
dude. And you know, he's fucking rich as
OG,
fuck now.
yeah.
He's definitely capital. Like, you know, he's worth so much money now, but he was bankrupt before or whatever. And he's just entertaining. You know, he's just a weird fucking dude. But he's like, and you could tell he's like a Christian, evangelical Christian conservative from the South, from like Texas or whatever, right? And he had some woman call in who's like, yeah, you know, I've worked my $50,000 a year job for like 40 years, and you know, I'm a millionaire. I got like 2 million saved up through my like 401k and all this stuff. And then he ended she's like, yeah, you're a hero. That's amazing, you know, and which is totally doable. You can easily, just the math works out, right? And then he ended the call. He's like, you fucking left liberal losers want to make her the problem. You know, like she's a millionaire. You want to take her
culture war bullshit.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, like she isn't the problem. You're right. But the thing is, if you're conservative, be consistent with it. Don't let your kid keep fucking, you know, $10 million or whatever, you know, you give that, right? Like kick them out and make them start from scratch. Like
it's never a two-way street.
It's like you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right?
But not my kid.
Exactly. So it's like, where it is true. And like the thing is with the middle class and upper middle class, like the numbers are pretty insane how it's the elite that are the problem, dude. It's like, because like a lot of the millionaires that are most millionaires like that own a house, right? They have their mortgage and shit, they paid off and shit, right? They're self-made, and and a lot of them inherited nothing. They literally they did work hard, and they did. So there is like something to that conservative thing where you can make it.
But you're an outlier.
You're an outlier.
That's the problem. Like you have
to win at the game. You have to.
I'm really into sports analytics, right? Tyreek Hill, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Fastest wide receiver I've ever seen. Fastest guy with the ball in his hands I've ever seen. He's small. You don't go. Tyreek Hill is not a sustainable model. You don't find wide receivers like Tyreek Hill when you're creating a team, and that's not a sustainable model for success in America either. Tyreek Hill's a unicorn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These people that succeed under capitalism in that way are unicorns, where they didn't inherit anything. These people that didn't inherit, you don't have, like, you shouldn't have to have some crazy ass idea that turns into an app startup to like live. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to have any of that stuff. Like I said, why is George Floyd counterfeiting 20s? Why is this kid 13 years old have a gun in an alley at 4 a.m.? I don't think he wants that.
Yeah.
Now, there might be some cultural things that are like conservatives will always go after it's the rap culture that's making him do that. No, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure this motherfucker's belly button is touching his back. He's starving so hard. You know what I mean? Like, and then
which is, and that's it might be a whole nother side of conspiracy too. Like, why was that fostered to begin with?
Well, there is that with the rap stuff, and maybe we'll talk about that next week when we do the rap conspiracy iceberg with with our car crash buddies. I think it's a good time to wrap up. So thanks to everybody who bought the Grift Shop merchandise. If you have the merch, go ahead and post a picture. You don't have to.
Do you have your shirt on close to you?
I do. I'll never wear it on the pod. That's just too cringe.
Can you show it though, or do you have it? I want to see it. Yeah.
Give me like 2 seconds. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Word.
I think I have it. Hold on.
Yeah. Wow, look at Chaz in the background there. Yeah, I hate this fucking pic because the robot dog is the worst thing. The fucking... Oh, here we go.
Hold on, I got it right here.
Oh, the background might fuck it up. Oh my god, that's so dope. Holy shit. Oh wait, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Got it. It's the Ouija yard.
Yeah, that's sick. That's sick.
So if you got the Grift Shop merch, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate this, you guys contributing to that. We will be starting our own merchandise thing coming up soon too, and the Grift Shop pop-up will happen again. So if you missed out, there are people mad that they missed out. It's all right. It was only a week. I understand.
Yeah,
it might be a bad week for some people. I understand.
But we'll do a giveaway. I want to do a giveaway, so like a pure giveaway.
Somebody suggested QR codes, stickers with QR codes, and I think that's a fantastic thing.
With our, what is that?
Leading subscription link to pods. So I have that link tree thing that has all the links.
Yeah.
So if you scan the QR code on the sticker,
just goes there. Yeah.
I had somebody down down south in Georgia saying like, do that, and I'll put those all over town. I was like, that's a good idea.
That's sick. Yeah.
I think we could design that. I don't see why we couldn't. And then
very doable.
So we have that. We were on the Car Crash podcast. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to that, was a great episode. I actually listened to that one back. It was actually really funny. Really fun.
It's fun. I'm like, I want it. We'll have them on because that was our first introduction, and I was like, you're never sure, and I wasn't at my A game, so I'm like ready now. I'm like, let's roll,
right. So I think that might be our guest. It might be next week. Might be just a fun, lighthearted episode with those guys. Like maybe a little conspiracy theory stuff. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
They might be coming on next week. I mean, they said they would, but I never like to, count the chickens before they hatch, right?
Yeah.
But so follow us on Twitter. We're at Rare Candy Pod 1. He's at Crypto Sci. I'm at Glenn Rockney. Subscribe to us on YouTube. YouTube's the premium stuff. You get to see cool backgrounds like this.
Yeah.
And we're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, a couple other small places too.
Yeah.
And we might be on another decent podcast coming up pretty soon too. So look out for that. I like going on other people's pods, man. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Because I have to commandeer some stuff.
Yeah.
But when you just let me play ball, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's like getting pegged by your wife, dude. You just let it loose,
Couldn't tell you. Thanks for letting me know about that though. Yeah.
Well, you told me about it.
No, I didn't. I told you I knew a guy actually.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, he had to put a sign in his front yard. In this house, I get pegged by my wife.
Yeah.
But no. You misheard that one. But anyways, that's it for us, guys. Thanks for listening to us talk about police brutality. All right.
Peace.